Hello and welcome to the assembly video of the 04 D140 diaphragm pump. Displayed here is the diaphragm pump disassembled in its entirety. To complete the assembly, we will need the following tools: a tabletop vise, a diaphragm removal tool W6CDEM 085, a small and standard size flat blade screwdriver, small picks, needle nose pliers, socket ratchet with extension, a 5mm and 6mm Allen wrench socket adapter or standard Allen wrenches, a 2.5mm Allen wrench, a medium adjustable wrench, rubber mallet, a cantilever clamp, along with white lithium grease 363096 and cotton swabs. We'll also be using some spare parts during this rebuild. Pneumatic seals kit 144-907-028, diaphragm kit 144-907-021, and ball and seat kits 144-907-022. We will begin the rebuild by inserting the large outer body O-ring into the groove and the inner shaft bushing O-ring into the center groove of the intermediate plate. After insertion, apply a liberal amount of the white lithium grease onto the O-rings using a cotton swab. You can also apply a lesser amount of grease to the diaphragm seating area of the plate. You will then insert the shaft bushing O-rings into both sides of the body housing, then apply grease to both and grease the same diaphragm area on the body. The piston side of the body must have a tremendous amount of grease applied, as this is where the piston will ride back and forth during use. Now we will place the piston assembly into a table vise. We recommend using brass plates to cover the vise clamps. This will help from damaging the shafts while securing them in the vise. First, you will apply a light coating of grease to the inner land area of the piston. Then take one of the rubber interface seals with the raised part facing up and insert it into the grooves using your fingers. Next, take one of the outer seals and apply a liberal amount of white grease inside and out of the seal. Then, with the open side facing upward, insert the ring into the top groove and work it around the plate with your fingers until it pops in. Then make sure it is seated properly and aligned. Next, flip the assembly over and repeat the same steps on the other side. Remove the assembly from the vise and apply grease to the longer step side of the piston shaft. Place that side of the shaft and assembly into the deeper portion of the pump body. Once it is laid on top, you will need to use the special diaphragm removal tool. Insert the flat end of the tool between the body and the diaphragm lip while applying light pressure to the top of the piston. Work the tool all the way around the circumference. It may take a couple of times around until you feel the piston pop and sink down into the body. Once this happens, you can remove the tool. Once it has gone down, firmly press the piston completely into the body and apply some grease to the other piston shaft. Take the intermediate plate and align it onto the body and slide it over the shaft. Then using 6mm Allen wrench, put the 6 bolts into the plate and tighten them to the body. There is a torque spec for these bolts, but we will demonstrate this a little later in the video. Moving to the assembly of the shuttle valve housing. Begin by installing 2 O-rings on both valve end caps. Start on one side, then roll the ring over to the groove using your fingers. These rings are rather easy to stretch. Next, put the lip seal rings onto the shuttle piston. You will install them the same way by walking them over into the groove. The open lip side must face inward on both sides. These seals are a little tougher to insert as they are not quite as stretchy. You will want to lubricate all the rings, the inside of the end caps, and the cylinder area of the housing. To insert the piston into the body, take an end cap and insert one end of the piston inside, then align it into the body and press it in. On the other side, take the other end cap and align it on the piston, then slide it into the body securely. Note, the cap must be straight into the cylinder. If not, it will cock and make it difficult to insert. Make sure the shuttle moves back and forth freely. Next, you will insert the inner body O-ring, the outer body O-ring, and the bottom O-rings into their lands. Place the valve block down into the housing onto the shaft, open side up. Take the valve plate and place that on the top of the housing. There are 3 O-rings that will be installed on top of the plate. The one in the middle is larger than the 2 sides. Remember to apply grease on all O-rings and mating surfaces. The next step will be to install the internal valves into the body. Start by applying grease to the latching element and its spring. Place the spring on top of the element and using a needle nose pliers, place it down into the open port over the piston shaft. Move the pump to one of the 2 side ports. This is where the lateral jump valves will be installed. Take one of the 2 jump valve blocks and lubricate it thoroughly. Then insert it with the 2 open ports facing upward down into the body. Next, take the seal O-ring and tuck it into the land using your fingers. Place the 2 springs into the ports of the jump blocks. Take the metal cover plate and place it on top of the valve. Then using a 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench, screw down and tighten the plate to the body. Turn the body to the other side and repeat these steps for that lateral valve. Moving to the shuttle valve housing install, there will be two O-ring seals. The first is an air pilot ring that is very small. Place it into the small port inside the body. You can use the end of the swab or other thin rod to help guide it into place. The larger seal is placed into the outer groove. Next, using a needle nose plier, set the control valve block down inside the body on top of the element spring, with the open side facing up. Then place the ceramic control plate on top of the opening, aligning the guide pin with the port on the plate. Once inserted, you can place the shuttle housing into the opening, aligning it with the same guide pin as the ceramic plate. Press the housing down until flush with the body. Finish by installing the 4 O-rings into the bottom of the body in intermediate plate, 2 large and 2 small. Now that the internal body parts are installed, we will attach the bottom plate. We'll begin by inserting the 2 O-rings into the base plate, one smaller and the other a bit larger. Work them into the grooves with your fingers. They may want to pop out while inserting, but take your time and walk them around the groove. Once installed, apply grease to the rings and a bit to the edges of the housing. Place the intermediate plate on top, aligning the hole in the right-hand corner to the port on the plate. Once together, place the base and the plate onto the bottom of the body, making sure the ports on the plate match the O-rings and ports on the body. Next, using the 6 millimeter Allen wrench, insert the 6 screws and tighten down the base to the body. Now using a torque wrench, tighten the intermediate plate bolts to 20 Newton meters or 177 inch-pounds and the bottom base plate to 10 Newton meters or 88.5 inch-pounds. Fully tightened, place the bracket/stand onto the base plate using 4 screws. Tighten them into the base using a 5 millimeter Allen wrench. These bolts do not have a torque spec. Now onto installing the diaphragm assemblies. Place a small amount of white lithium grease to the back side of the diaphragm and onto the housing. Put the back plate over the threaded bolt and thread the diaphragm and plate onto the shaft. Tighten with your hands. Apply some of the white grease to the front of the diaphragm. Then repeat the same steps on the opposite side with the other diaphragm assembly. To install the ball and spring, Seats and cages into the side plate. Begin by knowing which port is for the top of the pump and which faces the bottom, as the sequence of install is different between the two. We'll begin on the bottom port first. Take a cage and insert the seal into the groove. Apply grease, then insert into the port with the legs facing upward. Place the spring down into the center. Take the seat and install the small O-ring into the center groove and the larger ring into the outer, just like on the cage. The stainless steel ball will sit on the side of the seat that has the O-ring protruding. Place the ball on top of the spring, then lubricate the O-rings of the seat with grease and insert the seat with the O-ring side facing down. Press the seat in firmly until fully seated, then place the outer seal O-ring into the groove and apply grease. Now flip the plate over to the top side, and we will install the parts in the reverse order as the bottom. The seat will go in first with the O-ring side facing up. Then the ball and spring are placed inside, with the cage placed over them and pressed in. Remember to grease all rings and surfaces very well. Do the exact same steps to the other side plate, and once completed, we will install the plates to the body. You will align the plates so that the bottom sides are at the base of the pump with the ball showing at the bottom. Insert the 6 bolts to secure the plate. Using the 6mm Allen wrench, tighten, then using a torque wrench, torque the bolts to the body at 12 Newton meters or 106.2 inch-pounds. To finish the assembly, we will install the inlet and outlet manifolds along with the outer body cover. To begin, you will notice the inlet, which mounts to the bottom of the pump, has a deeper standoff than the outlet, due to going over the base plate and stand. With the pump upside down, place the inlet manifold on the pump, with the port facing the side of the air inlet threads. Using the 5mm Allen wrench or socket adapters, tighten the 4 bolts to the body at 12 Newton meters or 106.2 inch-pounds. Flip the pump upright and take the muffler silencer and thread it in by hand into the threads inside the body next to the air inlet port. There will be 3 pieces of foam, 2 long ones and 1 short. The short piece will go on top of the body, while the longer 2 will get tucked into the sides. Once installed, take the outer housing and place it over the body. Turn the pump on its side and take the 4 small screws, and while using a 2.5mm Allen wrench, tighten them to the base. There will be 2 on each side. There is no torque spec for these screws. Turn the pump upright and place the outlet manifold on the top of the pump after greasing the O-rings. The outlet direction does not matter. Insert the 4 bolts and tighten, then torque to 12 Newton meters or 106.2 inch-pounds. Take the air inlet valve and thread it into the port using an adjustable wrench to tighten securely. This concludes the assembly video for the 04 D140 diaphragm pump. Thanks for watching.